Before we dive into this incredible story, make sure you're part of our journey. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and get ready for a story that will leave you thinking. And if you love inspiring tales, a like goes a long way. That's not for people like you. The words sliced through the boutique's perfumed air, cutting deeper than any knife. The elegantly dressed saleswoman's smile never reached her eyes as she glanced at the girl's worn sneakers. Nearby customers turned, some pretending not to listen, others not bothering to hide their stares. In that moment, Emma wished the polished marble floor would open and swallow her whole. The boutique gleamed under crystal chandeliers, mannequins draped in dresses that cost more than Emma's entire college fund. She had saved for months from her after-school job, counting every dollar, dreaming about finding something beautiful for prom night. Something to make her feel like she belonged just once. But the saleswoman's words had shattered that dream in an instant, and the wealthy customer beside her snickered behind a manicured hand. What no one noticed was the man in the corner, sunglasses pushed up on his head, watching the scene unfold with growing intensity. His casual shopping trip had suddenly shifted into something else entirely. As Emma turned to leave, eyes brimming with unshed tears, he stepped forward. The saleswoman's smug expression froze when she recognized him. Robert Downey Jr., a man whose journey had taught him exactly what it meant to fall and rise again. If this moment made you feel something, imagine what's coming next. Hit that like button and stay with us. Subscribe now. Emma had pictured this moment differently. In her daydreams, she'd walk confidently through the boutique's glass doors, find the perfect dress, and for one night shed the weight of being the scholarship kid from the wrong side of town. Reality had other plans. She'd spent 3 months working extra shifts at the diner, serving endless plates of fries to rude customers who rarely tipped. All for $520 saved in a worn envelope she'd decorated with magazine cutouts of elegant dresses. I saved up, Emma stammered, clutching the envelope. Her voice sounded small, even to her own ears. I just wanted to try on something nice for prom. The saleswoman, her name tag read Victoria, exchanged glances with her customer, a bottle-blonde woman draped in designer labels. "Honey," Victoria said, voice dripping with fake sympathy, "our clearance section starts at $800. Even if you found something, alterations would be..." She looked Emma up and down, taking in her thrift store jeans and simple t-shirt. "Well, substantial. Maybe try them all. They have such cute, affordable options." The blonde woman snorted, not bothering to lower her voice. "Victoria, seriously, you're too kind. Some people need to understand their place." She fingered an emerald dress that cost more than Emma's mom made in 2 months. "It's embarrassing when people don't know where they belong." Heat rushed to Emma's cheeks as the woman's words reverberated through the boutique. Other shoppers pretended sudden interest in nearby displays, but their sideways glances told Emma they were all watching. A pit formed in her stomach, that familiar sensation of being the outsider, the one who didn't fit. She'd felt it walking through the halls of her private school, where she attended on scholarship while classmates arrived in luxury cars. Robert Downey Jr. had entered the boutique 20 minutes earlier, looking for something special for his niece's birthday. He'd been browsing quietly, enjoying the rare anonymity that came with casual clothes and a baseball cap. But the escalating confrontation had caught his attention, stirring memories of his own past. He remembered what it felt like to be judged, to fall from grace, to have people look down their noses. And he remembered what it meant when someone extended a hand instead. Emma's fingers tightened around the envelope, crumpling the edges she'd so carefully decorated. She should leave, walk away before the tears spilled over. Yet something kept her rooted to the spot. Maybe it was stubborn pride, or the thought of returning to her tiny apartment to tell her mother that once again, the world had reminded them of their place. "I just thought," Emma's voice faltered. "My mom told me everyone deserves to feel beautiful, even just once." Victoria and the blonde customer exchanged glances, then burst into poorly concealed laughter. "That's sweet," Victoria said, patting Emma's shoulder condescendingly. "But beautiful comes with a price tag, honey." As Robert watched, he saw something shift in the girl's expression, a flicker of dignity beneath the humiliation. The scene before him wasn't just about a dress, it was about worth, about who gets to belong, about the invisible lines society draws. In his decades in Hollywood, he'd seen enough pretension to last several lifetimes. He'd also experienced profound humility through his own struggles. Before he consciously decided to act, he found himself removing his sunglasses and stepping forward, feeling the weight of Iron Man's legacy guiding his actions. Things are about to take a turn. Don't miss what happens next. Subscribe, like our video, and keep watching. "Interesting perspective on beauty," Robert said, his voice carrying easily across the boutique floor. The reaction was immediate. Victoria's laughter cut off abruptly, the blonde woman's eyes widened, and a ripple of whispers spread through the store as shoppers recognized him. "I've always found price tags to be a poor measure of anything worthwhile." Victoria's professional mask slammed back into place. "Mr. Downey, what an unexpected pleasure." Her voice climbed an octave as she abandoned Emma, moving toward the actor with practiced grace. "Are you looking for something for your wife? We just received an exclusive collection that would be perfect." "Actually," Robert said, walking past Victoria to stand beside Emma, "I'm more interested in what's happening here." His presence changed the energy of the room instantly. Phones appeared in hands, discreetly aimed in their direction. The blonde woman smoothed her hair, suddenly conscious of being in an unflattering scene with a Hollywood icon. Emma stood frozen, recognizing Robert Downey Jr. but unable to process why he was standing beside her, looking at Victoria with such pointed intensity. Her embarrassment doubled. Now her humiliation had an audience, including someone whose movies she'd watched for years. "I heard you tell this young woman she doesn't belong here," Robert continued, voice deceptively casual. "I'm curious, who exactly issues the membership cards for belonging these days? I must have missed the application process." Victoria's smile became brittle. "You misunderstood, Mr. Downey. We were simply suggesting options better suited to the young ladies." She struggled for a diplomatic term. "Budget constraints. Is that right?" Robert's eyebrow arched. He turned to Emma. "What's your name?" "Emma," she managed, voice barely above a whisper. "Emma," he repeated, smiling warmly. "And what brings you here today, specifically to this boutique?" Emboldened by his genuine interest, Emma straightened her shoulders. "Prom. I've been saving for months. I just wanted one nice dress, something special." She hesitated, then added with quiet dignity, "I earned that money myself." Robert nodded, his eyes reflecting respect. "Sounds reasonable to me." He turned back to Victoria, whose composure was visibly cracking. "So, what's the problem exactly?" The blonde customer interjected, uncomfortable with being sidelined. "The problem is expectations. Not everyone can afford—" "I'm sorry, did I ask you?" Robert cut her off, his tone polite but firm. The woman's mouth snapped shut. Around them, the boutique had grown eerily quiet, every customer and employee watching the drama unfold. Several were recording discreetly on their phones. "You know, I've spent time in places where I definitely didn't belong," Robert continued, addressing the room at large, Rehab, prison, rock bottom, places where people told me I'd ruined everything, that I'd never find my way back. His voice carried no self-pity, just matter-of-fact honesty that made his words all the more powerful. Emma stared at Robert, seeing beyond the celebrity to the human being who'd walked through fire and emerged transformed. She'd read about his struggles, but hearing him speak so candidly, here, in defense of her, felt surreal. "The thing is," Robert continued, his gaze returning to Victoria, "when you've been excluded enough times, you develop a keen sensitivity to it happening to others." He gestured toward Emma's envelope. "This young woman worked for every dollar she's holding. She earned her place here just as legitimately as anyone else." Victoria's manager appeared, sensing trouble. "Is there a problem?" she asked, her eyes widening upon recognizing Robert. "There seems to be some confusion about your store policy," Robert replied smoothly. "Does your boutique explicitly prohibit customers who work hard and save their money?" The manager flushed, understanding the situation immediately. Other customers shifted uncomfortably, some looking ashamed, others riveted. "Of course not, Mr. Downey. We welcome all customers." The manager shot Victoria a warning look. "Perhaps I can assist instead." "That would be excellent." Robert nodded, then turned to Emma. "What kind of dress were you looking for?" Emma hesitated, overwhelmed by the sudden shift from humiliation to being the center of positive attention. "Something simple but elegant. Maybe blue?" She glanced down at her envelope. "I have $520. The blonde customer scoffed quietly, but Robert heard it. "You know," he said loud enough for everyone to hear, "I've attended events where people wore outfits costing thousands just to impress others. And I've met people with nothing who showed more class in their little finger." His eyes locked with Emma's. "True worth isn't about what you can afford. It's about who you are when no one's looking. And sometimes, more importantly, who you are when everyone is. This story is only getting deeper. What would you do in this situation? Comment below, and let's talk." The manager, seizing the opportunity to salvage the situation, guided Emma and Robert toward a section of the boutique featuring elegant but less extravagantly priced dresses. Victoria was quietly directed to assist other customers, her face burning with humiliation. The blonde woman retreated to a fitting room, suddenly less interested in being seen. "These dresses are from our designer's limited collection," the manager explained, her tone respectful as she showed Emma several options within her budget. "They're beautifully crafted, just not from this season's premiere line." As Emma cautiously touched the fabric of a midnight blue dress, Robert leaned against a nearby column, watching with quiet satisfaction. A small crowd of customers had gathered nearby, pretending to browse while sneaking photos and videos. The story was already spreading beyond the boutique walls, racing through social media platforms. Robert Downey Jr. stands up for teen bullied in luxury boutique. "Would you like to try it on?" the manager asked Emma, who nodded shyly. While Emma disappeared into a fitting room, Robert addressed the growing audience. "You know what I love about fashion?" he asked conversationally. Eyes widened at being directly acknowledged. "It's supposed to make you feel something. Confident, beautiful, powerful. It's not supposed to make you feel less than." He looked pointedly at several observers who quickly lowered their phones, shamefaced. "When we use material things to measure human worth, we all lose something valuable." A hushed silence fell over the boutique when Emma emerged from the fitting room. The midnight blue dress transformed her, not because it was expensive, but because it was right. The simple, elegant lines complemented her natural beauty, the color bringing out the warmth in her skin and the light in her eyes. For the first time since entering the boutique, Emma stood tall, a tentative smile playing at her lips. "Wow," Robert said simply. "That's the one." Emma turned slowly before the mirror, hardly recognizing herself. "It fits perfectly," she whispered. Then reality intruded as she checked the price tag. $495. With tax, it would be just over her budget. The manager noticed her hesitation. "We're having a special promotion today," she said smoothly. 15% off all evening wear." Robert smiled knowingly but said nothing, allowing the manager this face-saving gesture. Emma did the mental calculation. The discount would bring the dress comfortably within her budget. "Really?" Emma asked, looking between the manager and Robert, uncertain if this sudden generosity was legitimate or pity. "Absolutely," the manager confirmed. "And the alterations will be complimentary, of course." Robert stepped forward then, his presence still commanding the room without effort. "The dress is perfect," he said. "But there's something important I want to say." He looked directly at Emma, speaking quietly enough that she knew his words were meant primarily for her, though others could still hear. "That envelope you're holding," Robert continued, nodding toward Emma's crumpled savings, "that represents something far more valuable than money. It represents dignity, determination, and self-respect. You earned every dollar through hard work, and you have every right to spend it wherever you choose." Emma clutched the envelope tighter, his words washing over her like a healing balm. "I've had times in my life when I had everything and nothing at the same time," Robert said, his voice carrying quietly through the now silent boutique. "And I've learned that true class has nothing to do with what you wear or what you can afford. It's about how you treat others, especially those who can do nothing for you in return." He turned to face the boutique at large, including the chastened Victoria and the blonde customer who had reappeared, drawn by the commotion. "We all make mistakes. God knows I've made more than my share," he acknowledged with his characteristic self-deprecating charm. "But the measure of a person isn't in never falling. It's in how you rise again. It's in recognizing when you've been part of the problem and choosing to be part of the solution instead." Victoria stepped forward, her earlier arrogance replaced by genuine remorse. "I'm truly sorry," she said to Emma, her voice thick with emotion. "What I said was wrong and cruel. You absolutely belong here, and I hope you'll accept my apology." Emma nodded, too overwhelmed to speak. The blonde customer remained silent, but her expression had shifted from disdain to something like respect. "Now," Robert said, clasping his hands together with a smile that lightened the mood, "I believe we have a prom dress to purchase, and perhaps some accessories to complete the look." His eyes twinkled with mischief and kindness. "It's not over yet. The best part is coming. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it." As Emma paid for her dress, using every dollar she had saved, a profound sense of accomplishment washed over her. This wasn't charity. She had earned this moment. Robert stood nearby, politely signing a few autographs for staff and customers while ensuring Emma remained the focus of her own story. When the transaction was complete, the manager personally handed Emma the carefully bagged dress. "Thank you for shopping with us," the manager said sincerely. "And please, come back anytime." Outside the boutique, afternoon sunlight bathed the upscale shopping center in a golden glow. Emma turned to Robert, struggling to find adequate words. "I don't know how to thank you," she finally said. "Not just for the dress, but for—" She gestured vaguely, unable to articulate the enormity of what he had done. "For reminding them that humanity should trump hierarchy," Robert suggested with a gentle smile. "Don't thank me, Emma. What happened in there was all you. Your dignity in the face of cruelty, your hard work, your determination, that's what changed hearts and minds today. Emma shook her head in disbelief. But they never would have listened without you. Maybe, maybe not. Robert shrugged. Fame just makes people listen temporarily. Real change happens when they keep listening after the celebrity leaves. By evening, the story had spread like wildfire across social media. Videos captured by boutique customers showed Robert's intervention, his words about true worth, and Emma's transformation from humiliated teenager to poised young woman. Comments flooded in by the thousands, RDJ showing once again why he's not just a superhero on screen. This made me cry. That girl will remember this moment forever. The way he defended her dignity without making it about charity. The boutique issued a formal apology and announced a new training program for staff focused on inclusivity and respect. Victoria, rather than being fired, had requested to be part of developing the program, sharing how the experience had changed her perspective. A week later, Emma's mother sat on their worn sofa, still marveling at the turn of events. "I still can't believe Robert Downey Jr. himself stood up for you," she said, shaking her head. "And all these messages from people you've inspired?" Emma scrolled through her suddenly active social media accounts, where strangers shared their own stories of exclusion and resilience. A local news station had requested an interview, and several community organizations had reached out about scholarship opportunities. "It's strange," Emma reflected. "I went looking for a dress, but I found something else entirely." On prom night, Emma wore her midnight blue dress with quiet confidence. As she entered the hotel ballroom with her date, several classmates who had previously overlooked her came forward with genuine compliments. The story of what had happened at the boutique had transformed how people saw her, or perhaps it had transformed how she saw herself. At the boutique, something unexpected had emerged from the controversy. Sales had actually increased as people came in asking for dresses like Emma's, beautiful, well-made garments that didn't require a fortune. The manager had created a special section featuring elegant, affordable options, proving that inclusivity could be good for business too. Robert Downey Jr. never spoke publicly about the incident, despite numerous media inquiries. When asked about it during an interview, he simply said, "There are moments when we all have a choice, to be a bystander or to be part of something greater than ourselves. Those choices define us far more than any role we'll ever play." Emma kept the price tag from her dress, framing it beside a small note she'd received as she left the boutique that day. On hotel stationery, in Robert's distinctive handwriting, were words that had become her personal mantra. Worth isn't found in a price tag. It's found in how you rise after falling, in what you build from what you've been given, and in what you give to others along the way. The most valuable thing you'll ever wear is your dignity. No one can take that from you unless you let them. Wow, what a story. If this moved you, imagine what else we have for you. Hit that like button, drop a comment, and let us know what you think.